Hi guys. Hi. I decided that I want to make more videos and I don't know what to make videos about, so I'm just gonna decide some random topics until I guess I start thinking of better videos to make. Whatever. Anyways, um, so I'm gonna talk about right now um, my labor and delivery story when I had Nova. So where should we even start? I guess we'll start from the night I went into labor, October 11th. So, cause she was born on the 12th. So October 11th, it was probably around like 7 or 8 at night. I started getting like really bad stomach cramps, and like at first I thought like I was just getting sick, because like I just felt like I was gonna throw up, like I felt like I was having diarrhea, like so bad, so gross, but that's what was happening. So I just thought like, okay, you're getting sick. So I just like laid on the couch that whole night and I tried to relax and like just fall asleep and I guess just hope that I would feel better soon. And I remember it was probably like 11:30 or like midnight, and Brent was still at work because he works at a bar. Well, he has two jobs, but one of his jobs he works at a bar, so he works late at night and doesn't come home till late. So it was like midnight that night, and I remember texting Brent and being like, I think that like I'm in labor, like I think the baby's gonna come soon, like whatever. And he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna be coming home from work in like the next hour or two, so you know, just try to get some rest if you really think this is happening. And I was like, okay. So like I go back to bed and like I lay down and I fall asleep, and the next thing I know, like I like wake up to this like gush, like it just feels like I just peed my pants. Like I wake up and like it is like so warm, like the bed all around me is warm, like my pants, and I was like, what? I think my water just broke, but I don't know because it feels like pee, and like I did not know what was happening. So, because that didn't happen when I went into labor with Caleb. My water like didn't break. They had to do it for me at the hospital. But so I wake up to that and I like stand up and try to go to the bathroom, and as I'm walking to the bathroom, like you see like, so gross, you see like little like droplets like going all the way to the bathroom, and I was like, gross. So so I go in there and I sit on the toilet, and when I sit down it just starts pushing out of me like crazy, and I'm like, Brent, and like he's in the living room playing video games, and I'm like, Brent, it's time. And it's like, I don't even know what time, like 2 in the morning, I have no idea. So at this point when my water breaks, it's probably like 2 in the morning, and I'm like freaking out. I don't have any contractions at that point, so I was like, what is going on? Like, okay, so I call my doctor, I get off the phone with her, and then like I start like making sure that like we have everything packed in the bags, and like I start doing that, and like I remember I got my bag packed fine, and then I went into Caleb's room to start packing his bag, and that is when I got my first contraction. And like instantly, with like the first real contraction after my water broke, was like instant extreme contractions, like it didn't even like ease into it at all. And I'm thinking maybe what happened earlier that evening that I thought was just me getting sick, I think that was like my early contractions, and I just didn't know that I was in labor. I have no idea. But like as soon as my water broke, my contractions started like crazy, intense, painful, horrible. I mean, I don't want to say horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. It was so painful, and I'm like, we gotta go. And so like we get Caleb in the car because we had to drop him off at Brent's mom's house before we could go. But then we're trying to call her, and it's like 2 in the morning. She's obviously sleeping, So we have to bring Caleb with us to the hospital at first, and Brent's like calling his mom on the way there, trying to wake her up to come pick him up at the hospital, pick up Caleb from the hospital. So whatever, okay. So we're on our way to the hospital. I'm like, go, 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 and like screaming at Brent. Caleb's like, what's going on, mommy? And I'm like, I'm having a baby. And he was like, oh. And then I was like, yeah. I don't know. I was just like so crazy. I remember telling Brent, he was like, I was like, go, go. And he was like, I can't. He was like, it's a red light. And I was like, I don't care. Just go. It's 2 in the morning. There's no cars. Just go. He didn't go. But, I mean, we got there. I obviously didn't die. It's horrible, though. But, so we get to the hospital, and Brent, like, when he pulls in, I'm like, just pull me right up to the door. So, like, he pulled me into, like, the emergency section, like, where the ambulance is supposed to go. Like, having contractions, like, every 5 minutes, we go in there, I'm trying to get checked in, and the lady goes, oh, yeah, you can't park your car there. I remember my labor and delivery nurse was so nice. Like, she was literally so sweet. If it was not for her, like, I don't know what I would have done. Because she was, like, holding my hand, letting me squeeze her hand as hard as I could, telling me things like, you can do it, just listen to your body, just imagine you're on a wave, ride that contraction out, you can do it, like, you've got this. And she's like, you're doing so good, you're doing so much better, your epidural's coming. And I'm like, give me my epidural. And she's like, we can't because your blood work hasn't come back, because I guess they need to take your blood to make sure something is healthy enough for you to get an epidural. Anyways, my blood work hadn't come back yet, and it was taking forever because it was like a really busy night in the hospital. But so, like, that was taking forever, and so I'm like, give me my epidural, I want it now. Like, I was in the car wishing I had an epidural, so by the time I got to the hospital, I was, like, more than ready. But Nova had other plans, because literally within an hour, maybe even just 45 minutes, it was probably like an hour, though, of getting to the hospital, Nova decides to come out. She decides to be born. And it was such a crazy, crazy experience. I remember sitting there having one of my contractions, and I was like, alright, like, breathing through it, riding the wave, and then it was over. And I was like, okay, and I told my nurse that I could let go of her hand, and she went over to go do something else on the other side of my room. And then all of a sudden, I, like, feel like, I'm like, I need to poop now. And, like, I did not even care what was happening. Like, I just, like, I just started pushing. I don't know what I was thinking. I was out of my mind, okay? I was, like, 10 centimeters in active labor. Like, it was ridiculous. Anyways, so I felt like I had to poop. I didn't make the connection to think, okay, the baby's coming. I was just like, I'm gonna shit my pants. So, so I just start pushing, and the nurse hears me going, so she runs over to the bed, and she's like, stop it, what are you doing? It's not time to push yet, you have to wait. And I was like, no, it's time. I was like, I don't know, I have to push. And she was like, okay, let me check, turn over on your back. And I was like, okay. And so, like, I turn over, and she texts me, and she's like, oh my gosh, there is the baby's head. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, her head is right there. And she was like, don't move, don't push, don't do anything. And I was like, okay, and I'm like looking at Brent, and she like tells Brent, she's like, go push that button on the wall. I guess it's like an emergency button. She's like, go push that button on the wall. So Brent like runs over and pushes this button, and like tons of people come rushing in my room, and the doctor just like delivers Nova. Like, literally, it was probably like 5 or 6 pushes later, and she was there, and it was so crazy. I remember looking at Brent, like, as the doctor was like getting his gloves on and like getting ready to like deliver Nova for me. I remember looking at Brent and thinking like looking at him with a face like, is this really happening? Like, right now? Like, so soon? Like, what? like just an hour ago I was like, or just 2 hours ago, like I was at home in my bed sleeping. I didn't even know this was gonna happen, and now she's like here. It was so beyond crazy, but that's what happened. That's the story. And then you guys know the rest. Yeah, so that was like a fun video to make and like to tell you guys like about what happened. I mean, I know most of you probably already know from like blog posts that I've made and just like whatever, but I don't know, it's fun to talk about, and I feel like you get more of the story when I'm telling you opposed to when I'm just typing it. And I'm not very good at putting my words into like written form. I'm better at just talking. I don't know. I'm so bad at putting my words into written form. Anywho, yeah, if you guys liked this video, you should give me more ideas on like what kind of videos you want to see, what I should talk about, what I should make, and I will get on that because this was fun and I like talking. Okay, bye!